Okay, this is Robert Newman. I'm a real estate online marketing expert located in California, and this is one of my video reviews of top real estate website providers. So these are companies that make websites, and they fall into a couple of different categories. What we're looking at right now is Dakno. Dakno is a really respected real estate website service provider. The company was founded by Brad Carroll. Brad Carroll is definitely one of the guys in the industry that has a lot of credibility. He's a real technology expert. He's built a lot of custom back-end tools under his direction for his company Dakno. They've been at real estate specialty websites for a lot of years, as long as I've been in the business, which has been a decade, and potentially longer. They've evolved a lot over the years. I've seen it. You can't see it here, and I didn't pull up any data to prove it, but I can tell you that my personal experience is that these guys have been evolving their service and their product. Now, just like everybody else, they've got some strengths and some weaknesses, and I intend to point out the ones that I know about. With Dakno, there's some things that I don't usually like there to be gaps in my reviews, but these ones that I'm doing for the top 20 providers are pretty brief. They're not like my normal reviews, which you can see if you look at Playster or my Easy Agent Pro versus Real Geeks. I took 3 months. I used the platforms. I've done none of that for Dakno, and I'd like to one of these days. But for right now, this is a top-level review for Dakno. Dakno has always hovered around the same pricing. Their prices range between $1,600 and $1,000. They can actually get to be far more than that. They can go upwards at $2,500. They have an IDX fee, and they have a full range of service offerings that they can add on in the back, like when they sell you the website. So there's a lot of differences. Like they have their own IDX. Okay, so they are not using IDX Broker or iHomeFinder like some other website manufacturers are. In addition, Dakno has now created its own stack of technology that services real estate websites. Now, I'm not going to get into at certain points of these reviews, you just have to take into consideration that it seems like I know what I'm doing. This is a tool called Built With, and it tells me how companies are building their websites. It basically is pointing out the tools that they're using. These guys are not using WordPress. They've got their own content management system that either they've developed or they've partnered with called Live Agent. What Live Agent does, I have a service description, which is essentially it can take users, you can chat with them, and it apparently provides tickets. And from what Brad is saying on some of his blog posts on Active Rain, they've got a from birth to death kind of nurturing system inside their websites. But I've never read anything that says that they've got like a user behavior lead nurturing system similar to Z57 or Zerpal. So my belief would probably be that this is agent and broker managed, and that there's some kind of work involved in getting your leads properly nurtured using these guys. Now, maybe they've got a team in place that helps respond to leads. I've seen some questionable marketing material that says that maybe that's one of their service packages. The things that I know definitively in terms of their product and their service. So one, I have the years that I've seen them around. This is somewhat surprising, but for the years that they've been around, they have a surprisingly low number of reviews. So they've been in business over 10 years. They've got 26 Google reviews. To give you a comparison, I've been asking for reviews for, I want to say, 6 months, and I've got 12 on Google. And I've got more Facebook reviews than they do, so I don't think they've very much focused on reviews. They've got 4 Yelp reviews. Now, all these reviews are good, but if you start looking here at Glassdoor, which is employee reviews, people that work for them, like you can quickly see that it is that they're saying, hey, it's what you make of it, which leads me to believe that they've probably provided a fairly good package of tools. But unlike many of the companies that are out there right now, they don't have a huge amount of tutorials on their website. So like Playster and other real estate technology companies really go out of their way. Easy Agent Pro, they're going out of their way to try to educate you how to use their websites. Dakno is not. Whether or not they do that internally, that's a question, but I don't see anything that leads me to believe that they really are. In addition, when it comes to the kinds of reviews that you guys have started to expect from me in this series of real estate website providers, I, of course, have reviewed Dakno themselves in terms of, do they understand organic marketing like from a top-level perspective? And they've got better statistics than a lot of companies do. But when I open this up, it becomes apparent that what they're really doing is they're targeting IDXs, which usually means that's like a high volume strategy. That's saying we just want to sign you up for that fee that you pay for the IDX, which might be $80 a month, whatever it is. But all those people that are doing that are putting all the lead generation back on you. You've got to drive traffic into the website. You've got to understand how conversion works. You've got to make that happen. It's not we're providing you a solution. It is literally you've got to make that all happen. And if you ever come to them with like that kind of concern, that's exactly what they're going to tell you. Now, they do have one good search result, which is real estate web design, and they're number 5 for that. That's a great term. Everything in real estate at like the real estate website design level or real estate websites is super competitive, like super competitive. So that they have any ranking at all for any keyword that's even remotely like realtors web design, real estate web design, they've got some kind of marketing chops, and that says something about them. Now, in terms of their websites themselves, they fall into the custom real estate website design category. Both their pricing and their product, their service, puts them into that category. I'm going to show you guys a few examples. This is a Dakno website. What's pretty cool is that they've got a very good IDX solution. So this is a Miami Beach realtor. They have wisely focused on condos. What's a little bit disconcerting, and I do this with each and every single one, is that what I do is I take the very best of their customers, the people with the highest domain rating and the highest URL rating, and I open them up and say, hey, what's the likelihood that these guys have ranking of their own? Like are they receiving any kind of lead generation off their website? And this is the top ranked site, at least. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's possible that they have other customers that are doing far better. But this is this customer. And the top keyword is HPW, and then they do have some keywords here and there that are okay. But overall, the chances of these guys generating anything more than a handful of leads is pretty small, because what they're doing is they've got nothing but their name is what they're going on. So people already know about them. They may have other kinds of marketing, but this tracks PPC, which is Google AdWords advertising, and it's saying that it hasn't seen any spend in the last year. So chances are strong that whatever marketing is being done by HPW is actually being done at the agent level and driving that into the website. In addition, to support that, I look at HPW and I go down and I look at what their Google tracking is doing. And I know that sounds like kind of weird, like why would you do that? So here's one of those interesting things, is that you can see that HPW has a whole bunch of agents that have subdomains that connect in, and all that means is HPW is providing their agents with websites. In my experience with numbers like this, the fact that the brand name HPW is mostly what is coming up in the search engines, that probably means that their marketing is being driven by their agents themselves as opposed to their website. Now, again, this could be just one customer, and maybe there's other customers that, you know what, I decided to look at another one. All right, so this is their second top customer. It's this customer right here. Okay, we know that he's got good targeting for a lot of condominium buildings in terms of his homepage and links that lead to them. And it does look like indeed some of these are doing okay. He's got good ranking on these. Most likely Kevin's website makes him money. Okay, he's probably getting leads for all of these different condominium buildings, and this is a very smart way to target in Miami and places where buildings are entire ecosystems in terms of buying and selling real estate. So it does look like he's done a solid job. My 1,000 foot view is that Dakno is probably very proficient at what's called IDX SEO, which just means that they're good at building a homepage that has these connected pages that go into very specific locations. Now, most people in real estate aren't going to be in an area where you're going to see this kind of success. So this realtor or this broker probably is experiencing a lot of success and doesn't even realize that he's a one-off, but he is. He's going to be a rarity. But since he's making money off his website, we can be sure that he's probably putting money back into it. But you know what? These numbers, like, once again, with custom real estate makers, the key is walking into the relationship in an educated fashion. You can make money off a lot of real estate websites, but most of the time, the provider themselves is not giving you all the information that you need to do that. You kind of have to learn as you go. My objective with doing these reviews is to give you a chance to say, am I organized enough? Am I prepared enough to work with this real estate website service provider? And I think in a lot of cases the answer is no, which means that a lot of people lose money. Now here's one other thing about Dakno. They absolutely positively have their own custom CMS. They have their own custom website design. What does that mean in layman's terms? Whatever the monthly service is with Dakno, and I couldn't necessarily find it, but it's probably in the $100 to $300 range. You're going to be paying that for the lifetime of the site. So getting into something with Dakno is definitely a relationship. They're not providing as much support as I like to see with real estate website providers. Like, they don't have a large content marketing section that on their website that educates you. They do have a YouTube channel that has 50 videos. They only have 132 subscribers. That is not promising. To give you an example, Easy Agent Pro, which has only been around for 2 years, has 7,000 subscribers. Playster, 13,000 or something ridiculous like that. Even I have 30 providers, and I've only been adding YouTube videos for a couple months. So usually people subscribe where they're finding something that is highly useful. And just based on these titles, like a mastermind, who knows what that is, there are no bad leads. So they're trying to tell you, the agents, okay, there's no bad leads. I mean, how many times do you get told that? By your sales manager, by the ownership brokerage? I mean, they're always going to tell you there's no bad leads. So that usually is code for our websites don't generate great leads, and that's not promising either. So as a whole, though, again, it needs to be said that Dakno, in terms of real estate technology companies, has a much better reputation than many that are out there. Like, they don't have all the hidden bad reviews that Agent Image does. They seem to be a solid company. It just appears on the surface that the only way to make money off Dakno sites is to really understand how they work. And I'm not able to log in and show you how they work or identify for sure that their IDX actually generates leads, like if it asks for registration at the right points, things like that. Like, let's just go to a building. If this website is set up correctly somewhere in this process. So this is a nice result. So we're going to go view listings. And there we go. So it probably is actually generating decent leads, because now I've got a good explanation of the property. I've got a phone number to call, and I can enter my information. So let's take one more thing, because that's a building that's in pre-construction. I don't know if you read as fast as I did, but let's go ahead and go to 1500 Ocean Drive. That sounds like something that might be established. Okay, so here we go. I do view listings. It's thinking forever, more forever. Lord have mercy. This is certainly not promising. Okay, so it's not asking for registration. That's a little disappointing. Let's go for details. Okay. In terms of the way the IDX appears, I mean, again, I believe strongly that this is probably making money for this realtor. But Some of the things I would test if you're considering this particular website provider is make sure that you are taking some of these examples, some of these website examples that you're seeing here, just copy the URL and use them on your mobile phone. Make sure that the IDX is actually mobile, not just not just the website itself. So here's one last Dakno site. All right, it seems to be more modern. It's got bigger images. It's cleaner. It's got some unnecessary graphics on it. I personally don't like this design all that much. But I mean, in terms of, is it a solid design? The answer is yes. And again, we get this really thorough explanation of neighborhoods and things like that. Let's just go ahead and click on one. This is probably an MLS problem, not anything else. These IDX pages appear to load slow. This is the second site in a row where the pop time is a little bit slow. That's never good for Google. It's not that this is atrocious. It's not at all. But like just in terms of things that you should be aware of, the person that might be thinking about purchasing a real estate website, these are definitely things that you want to pay attention to. You want to go to a few sites. You want to check them out. But I can't emphasize this enough. There probably are only maybe 4 or 5 really good custom real estate developers in the entire country. There just aren't many. I wish there were. And this is one of the top ones. So I'm trying to educate you about what you might need to, questions you might need to ask. I'm not poo-pooing these guys at all, as long as you kind of understand what you're walking into. I will say that since they've decided to eschew WordPress, I am not seeing anything impressive in terms of SEO or content marketing. Now, that's pretty universal in real estate. Very few people focus on it anymore. And it's not the fault of the developer. Some of their clients might be able to do very well in SEO if they just knew what they were doing. But I can tell you that that not seeing anybody that's doing anything interesting with content marketing or having search results sent back to their site is a little bit disappointing. This is another one. So the 3 sites that we've looked at are the top 3 in terms of domain authority. So I've literally taken, there were 3,300 websites that were connected to Dakno, and I've taken the top 3. So we're looking at the best of the best of the best for them. These guys have PPC. These guys are recognized for a lot of keywords. Let's see what the pages are. And they're targeting weird stuff. They're targeting lifestyle searches. Okay, nothing bad with that. It's a fairly solid strategy to develop a good email list within a community. So I'm absolutely not going to knock it. It's driving a lot of traffic into their site, but when we're looking at this site and we are looking at what traffic there is, we need to now be aware of the fact that most of this is lifestyle traffic, which just means it's a very long-term approach to collecting an email list and then emailing it out. Now, my belief is, since we're looking at the top 3 realtors and brokers, that all of these real estate professionals probably actually are on top of their game, probably managing their list, probably making money in conversion off their websites. And if you called any of them, they're probably going to say that Dakno is a great provider. They've just been trained into understanding that they need to do all the heavy lifting in terms of learning what needs to be done, how to do it, so on and so forth. Now, my belief might be that this particular client, Linda Lovecraft, she might very well be like a customer in terms of marketing, because Dakno does have marketing services, or they did when I was competing against them. I haven't done so in a few years. I used to get their contracts, and I know exactly what they used to do. So they used to offer blog content. Whether or not they do that anymore is anybody's guess. So they probably do have some marketing packages. I'd be very careful if you decide to sign up for any of them, mostly just because they might have a very long-term view, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just should be educated on that. You should know, I'm going to be spending whatever money they quote me for 6 months to 12 months. And that's the same with me. But at the end of that 6 and 12 months, what you're going to be doing is collecting email addresses for people that were looking at top restaurants, not top real estate. So then there's probably an extra incubation period of another 6 to 12 months before you start closing deals. Now take a super long-term view, and these guys might be building a great product. I don't like the fact that you probably don't own the site. I don't like the fact that you're going to be locked into them forever. And I don't like the fact that they don't have a lot of education on the website. So I think that if you're looking for a mid-range custom real estate website service provider, these guys might be somebody that's good to look at. Definitely call them and take a look at their capabilities. They don't have massive amounts of complaints online. They do have their internal stuff kind of suggests that, like a lot of real estate tech companies, there isn't a very great culture inside the company. Real estate tech can be really unforgiving. And because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of MLSs, there's a lot of detail, there's a lot that, and it's just not easy. And then if you start saying that you need to also understand marketing and email marketing, and you have a realtor whose expectation is that the service person that they're going to call understands these things, it's very unforgiving. And I've trained a lot of these support staff, so I know for sure it's very, very, very unforgiving. That's not to say that you, as a person who has money to spend, shouldn't expect that. I'm just telling you both sides of the equation. Anyway, I hope you found this Dakno, or oh God, no, that's right, Dakno review helpful. As with all my videos, you can always leave me a comment below, and I will reach out to you. Forgive me, my cat has decided that he needs to be part of my review. So anyway, ultimately, I think that they're going to get a good scorecard from me, and there's definitely more good than bad. It's just understand what you're investing in.